Good morning, my friends. We are the Gaia guys, and we are here to talk about the seriousness of environmental issues and the need to create a more sustainable living environment. First of all, thank you all for staying behind for our presentation, and we will try to make it as quick as possible. So, my group will be covering 3 different aspects of the environment, namely climate change, pollution, and recycling. My name is Eon, and I will be talking about how changes in climate make Gaia sick. Climate change. As a country praised for being a garden city, are we doing enough to contribute to the environment? Meteorological Singapore has conducted a research on the annual temperature of Singapore over the years. As you can see, ever since 1980s, there has been a sharp increase in temperature, and if nothing is done, temperature will continue rising. By the end of the century, it will increase by 1.4 degrees Celsius. Due to the climate change, there will be multiple problems affected. I will be talking about 3 of them: temperature, rainfall, and sea level. On temperature, previously I talked about how temperature will increase by 1.4 degrees Celsius, but it does not stop there. In the worst case scenario, it will increase by 4 degrees Celsius. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the temperature in Singapore throughout the year. In Singapore, we have a mean temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, but in the extreme case, you can see that it goes up to 36. But these are the current temperatures. Imagine a 1.4 to 4 degrees increase in temperature. The weather will be unbearable, and there will be an increase in heat-related cases, especially for the sickly and the elderly. Next, rainfall. Due to climate change, there will be an increase in intensity and number of heavy rainfalls, which will lead to flash floods. These are recent occurrences of flash floods around Singapore. We have Orchard Road, Tanjong Pagar Road, and our very own NUS. As you can see, it's clearly flooded, but while some cases may be attributed to the poor drainage system, it is unlikely for any drainage system to withstand long hours of heavy rainfalls without malfunctioning. Lastly, sea level, which is a crucial problem to Singapore since we are surrounded by water. Just a show of hands, does any of you stay in Jurong, Punggol, Marina Bay, Changi? Well, you may be in danger of living in the low-lying areas of Singapore. That's because these 4 areas of Singapore will be submerged in the event of a 4 degrees Celsius increase in temperature, which means your home will be gone. Not only that, various places around Singapore will be submerged as well. In fact, by the end of the century, sea level will increase by 0.5 meters, and if it's hard to gauge that, it will be around my waist level, which will be right up to your head, above your chest level right now. So, throughout my presentation, you may have heard the phrase, by the end of the century, a few times. You may think, it's only 2017, and yet this guy is talking about the end of the century like it affects us. However, just because it does not affect us, does not mean we do not have a part to play in this problem. So, here are a few simple solutions we can do, individuals like you and me can do to reduce climate change. Firstly, turn off all electrical appliances when not in use. Computers, lights, and televisions are a few of them. Next, ask your friends and family to change to LED light bulbs since they use 25 to 80% less energy compared to the normal ones. Lastly, use fan instead of air conditioner. So I will just turn on air conditioner. I will just increase temperature. One more thing, avoid driving. As you can see, driving is the greatest contributor to climate change. If possible, take public transport or cycle to your destination whenever possible. Let us all do our part in reducing climate change and create a more sustainable living environment for all of us. Thank you. Now I'll pass my time to my groupmate Sean, who will be talking about pollution.
Thank you, Eon. Morning, everybody. It's a wake-up call, literally and metaphorically. My name is Sean. Today I'll be talking to you about a renowned serial killer. It's a much better record than Jack the Ripper, because he doesn't just kill all of us humans, he kills the entire world. And he's pollution. But before I go on, I would like all of us to watch this short clip. So how do you guys feel? It's a bit boring now, I know. But I've seen some pleasant faces in the audience just now. Me too when I actually first came across this clip. But let's be really honest, everyone. Most of us don't actually care about this environment. Because these statistics don't affect our daily lives. And I'll tell you why. We have 4.5 million pounds of trash on land, but your house and mine is clean. We have 40 million pounds of trash in the water, but you can still drink tap water in this country. 2,200 children, 100,000 sea mammals, and 1 million birds. They die every year thanks to pollution. But guess what? Our lives, our personal lives, which is the only thing that we ever truly care about, they remain unchanged. But actually today, who's else traveling here? Can I have a show of hands? I'm a wanderlust also. Don't be embarrassed. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for reception. So I'll let you take a look at this country's most frequently visited around the world currently. This is Switzerland before. And now. We have Scotland before. And after industrialization. Beijing. I don't even need to tell you about this. One of the most polluted cities in the world. This is the Tower Bridge at London 3 years ago. Before I go on to show you how it looks like now, let us do a short exercise. Can you all visualize in your mind and tell me how bad you think it is now? And I'll let you know if your imagination can match what it looks like last year. This is the Tower Bridge last year. In any case, you might think that this is the effect of a morning dew or morning fog. Let me just remind you that this picture is actually extracted from a very reliable pollution website. You can find this picture at the Telegraph UK as well. If you're still not convinced, let us then take a look at Australia. Do you know the difference? My point is this, everyone. Just because you can't see it here, doesn't mean it's not there. And just because you can't see it yet, doesn't mean it's not on its way. I have a question for all of us here in this room. Honestly, how long more are we going to wait? How long more are we going to stand still and be personally reminded that we need to do something about the environment? Because years ago, we all expected this would happen. All along, we knew that this would happen. But we committed the greatest crime as human beings. That is to always assume that there will be people solving issues for us. And that is why, gentlemen, we are suffering today. We never bothered to make a change. Change will never come if we wait for some other person in some other time. We must realize that we cannot wait for that guy to appear. Because we are the ones that we're waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So if you would ask me, Sean, how would I recommend a change? I recommend by tackling the root of all problems. That is by growing trees. Because trees use carbon dioxide in the air, increase oxygen, and eliminate toxins. Trees are the main reason why you and I are able to breathe healthily today. Look at this beautiful tree. Do you find anything familiar? Yeah, thank you for that. If you find the surrounding familiar, you're probably right. This is in NUS. It's grown in NUS at our very own Faculty of Arts at the Berlinese Garden. And I'm more than proud to say that this tree is grown by some of our oldest professors in the school as part of the NUS Greenery and Treescape Plan 2016, which aims to plant a total of 2,000 trees at Great Sima and Cambridge campuses for the next 5 years, just for the environment. Why am I sharing with you this? It's very simple. I hope that as us millennials, as we watch environmental movements like this, we can be altogether inspired to take action and follow suit. You and I can start planting as soon as today. And these being my plants at the start of this semester. Actually, I just bought it yesterday. I'd like to end off my presentation with a quote by the late Martin Luther King Jr., who once said that our lives begin to end the moment, the day we become silent about the things that matter. You and I have known that the day has already arrived long ago. And we cannot afford to let the next generation witness how selfish we can really be. I hope we stay on the same page, fight for a change, and create a sustainable living environment. Because if we can accomplish that, we can all together visit these places again. Thank you all. Now I'll pass on to Curry to talk about recycling.
Morning. I'm Corey and I'll be presenting to you on the post, Saving Gaia. Are we really doing our best? Imagine trekking up MacRitchie Nature Reserves, going up and down the slope, surrounded by lush vegetation, with the humidity hugging you. Whether is it a pleasant or unpleasant experience, this may just be an imagination. For those who have not visited the nature reserve, this illustration of Taylor Swift's video provides an illustration. So the topic I'll be presenting to you today will be on recycling. The vision of Garden City. It was formed by our late Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. However, this vision is being threatened by our actions or the lack thereof. So what exactly is this problem? The problem is literally lying in Pulau Semakau. At the rate that we are depositing our trash, 200 tons per year, the landfill will soon be filled by the year 2035, and that's not too far away. So you may be saying, Corey, I've been doing my part, recycling, disposing of trash efficiently. It's not about me, it's what the government is actually doing. Don't call me a complaint king or queen. However, this is untrue. The government has actually implemented waste innovation processes to make it more efficient for us to recycle, and yet we are not doing our part. A quote from the article: Singaporeans have a love affair with plastic bags, and it comes at often no cost because it is free, so we take as many as we want. So what are the solutions? The solutions today I'll be presenting ranges from low, middle to high involvement spectrum. A quick disclaimer: I personally find this recycle bin at my house HDB and at private estates quite ineffective. Why do I say so? Anyone can dump any and everything into this bin, including this Pikachu soft toy, which is non-recyclable. So let's have a quick game of low involvement processes. Where do you think I should bin this iced lemon tea cup that I've gotten from the deck? That is true. However, you can also place it in a plastic if you dispose of the liquids and possibly rinse it to not solve the other plastic contents. Thankfully, for this module, we do not have to print out physical notes. But what about other modules which have physical notes or even exam scripts? Where should I place it? That is true. So you place it in a paper. And lastly, what about this Pizza Hut cardboard box? Where should I place it? That is true, because the food oil from the pizza is absorbed by the cardboard box, which can potentially soil other paper goods, making the whole bin ineffective, so you're not recycling anything at all. So let's move on right here in our campus to middle involvement processes. An initiative started by NUS Save is Project Box and Project Tumbler. So what better way to save the environment by saving your own wallet? And lastly, high involvement, we have ECO, Environmental Challenge Organization. This is Singapore's first and only environmental NGO which empowers youth to champion for environmental efforts in Singapore. So if you are interested, please go to their website to fill in a contact form and inquire more. So if we do not start playing our part on an individual level, this is what our environment may potentially be. So don't be trashy, recycle. In conclusion, our team has presented to you our social issue, environment, from the context of climate change, pollution, and myself, recycling. So do your part today to make sure the environment is a sustainable one. Thank you. We will now take questions if there are still time.
I have a question about the planting a tree thing. It's great that we can, like, NUS has done things to like try and plant more trees, but then sadly I see more and more trees get cut down to build to build houses for our population. So how far do you think this goes, and how far do you feel like this is just how humans are gonna end up killing themselves?
Well, unfortunately, this is true. Because in Singapore, right, we always have an ever-increasing population. So we must always have an ever-increasing demand of houses. And in the context of economics and environment, right, there's always a mismatch or imbalance. Because humans are, technically, we are innately selfish, I would say, according to different parts of psychology. And we will always demand more things for ourselves, and at the expense of our environment most of the times. Because on this earth, there only exist two things, nature and nurture. Us and the nature. So I would say, we can't achieve perfection in this world. I mean, definitely. But there's always non-governmental organizations which are being set up in NUS, like what he mentioned about the NUS Safe, and also in other parts of the world that we can always do our part in. But of course, if you were to ask me, can we actually save the environment at this stage? It can happen, but it will be very difficult.
And as such, while land is being reclaimed or like trees are being shelved or removed, buildings have actually taken up green initiatives to make the building more green to compensate for like the trees that they have replaced. So like example, hotels like Hotel Asia at Tanjong Pagar, you'll see like it's surrounded by greenery. Well, there are some critics that say it's inefficient, but at least I think they're doing something to help this environmental cause.
Furthermore, recently there has been a new initiative called Sky Gardens. They actually plant trees on top of buildings, like at the highest floor, or create a separate area to grow greeneries. So, despite having HDB flats or other buildings, it is still possible to plant trees.
Sorry, I have a question about pollution.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. Okay.
I'll just take a short one.
Can
Sorry.
I? Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure.
So I think pollution maybe is not really contributed by humans, right? As in like residents. It's more of like companies. But then my main question is, like, to what extent should we industrialize and like, you know, we can't stay stagnant forever to the end of the century or whatever context we're in right now. So to what extent should we industrialize and to what extent should we stop? And is it because technology is preventing us from being able to grasp both, to like have the
Well, firstly, I'm not the government, so I don't have a perfect answer. But I can, from what we have researched all together, we do come across articles that we have developed technology that are environmental friendly at the same time. And that is so far the best we can ever foresee ourselves to do. But of course, if we are talking about how far we can actually industrialize, it depends on the development of the country or actually the development of the state itself. But I would say that, because I have the same question as you as well, but I do hope that we don't industrialize too much. But at the same time, we have to think about the amount of luxury our next generation can enjoy. So I would say it all depends on how each of us do our part, how each of us is willing to change the environment. But at this stage, it is not very hopeful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.